again, we'll have to see how that lane actually pairs out. And they did very consciously choose to make the CM into a 4 position. So perhaps that's just DogChamp saying that maybe with the CM, with the Frostbite Slow and the Crystal Nova, that'll be able to give Italiano Gangster enough distance, a little physical distance between the Pudge to actually survive. But again, we'll have to see. And we'll have to see again if this Pudge is even HFN's hero, because there is still that flexibility. If they want to keep that flexibility, they would have to pick up their mid laner right now, which is a position that you kind of want to go for, but you kind of don't want to, because there have been so few mid bans in this game that I feel like anything is a little bit risky. Invoker is probably the one hero that kind of screams right now. I am, however, worried because RCY's Tinker is still in the pool. That was untouched. And DogChamp could pick it here with 2 bans and only 1 pick for Wolf Team to fix that issue. It could see that to be the kind of slam dunk here for DogChamp.
Well, see if that's the move they want to make. First, though, Wolf Team taking some time thinking over this next pick. So maybe they're not 100% sure which direction that they want to take this in after all, but you're going to have to reveal something, right? You can't keep all your cards close to the chest there, as they do go in for the Visage selection. So, well, that is honestly going to be a very, very rough lane, right? Marcy Visage is going to do some things to whatever your carry pick is that you're not going to appreciate. So they'll have to figure out who they want to stand in that lane, but ET, they do pull the trigger on the Tinker lane.
And now, 2 bans, 1 pick. Wolf Team, what are we going to do versus RCY? And I do like the Visage a whole lot. We only got to see the Visage versus Treant lane 1 time in this tournament. It was in one of the No Runes games. But the issue is that, well, sure, you're going to do a lot of damage with the Treant Protector, but every punch from that log is a Soul Assumption charge. So you get stuck in a trade a second too long, suddenly all that damage is either traded onto you or your carry. It ends up being a pretty fantastic counter. And then once those birds are online, hiding in the trees isn't really something you can do either. So really, it's just a perfect answer to everything that the Treant Protector is going to want to do, as well as fixing Wolf Team's, again, tower pushing problem, where they don't get onto objectives very easily. But that's where the Tinker has not really lost too much here for DogChamp. It's only lost a single game. They've picked it, I think, 3 times now at this point. And every single time, you know, RCY is just chugging along, maybe getting picked off here or there, gets level 12, and then we're off to the races. Gets the second point in his ultimate, and then suddenly this hero is so obnoxious to play against, so obnoxious to push into, just ends up being the way they win their games. And I do love from Wolf Team banning out the Bloodseeker. That would be a pretty sick option for them. But now you also have Stonebank, who has been prosecuted a little bit more here ban-wise. He's going to be pushed onto maybe a hero that he doesn't necessarily want. TB is still kicking around if they want to go for that. But again, we'll have to see if they want to opt for that. But I do have a lot of belief in RCY's Tinker here. The Tinker stonks are kind of on the uptrend right now.
Yeah, he has been very reliable on that Tinker. Of course, you know, only 3 games, but those 3 games have shown us quite a bit from him in terms of that player-hero pairing. But we'll see now what it is Wolf Team are going to try to lane up against it. Quap and Zeus both banned away for DogChamp, so, well, I don't know, ET. At this point, do you want something to try and harass the Tinker in lane, or does Wolf Team look for something that can just maybe gank on its own, so you and the Tinker go your separate ways and both just try to make your own plays separately?
Yeah, I think something to get the gap closed would definitely feel the best. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be a Void Spirit. You can't really go for Pango versus Beastmaster Treant, even though that would have been a pretty nice option for them. I feel like a Spirit's probably your easy call.
Oh.
And no, they say, well, okay, you're free and away. And that's an insta-pick right there of the Weaver. And this is a hell of a good Weaver game. 2 range cores to play into, a Witch Doctor that's just food for you. Last time we saw a Weaver, it was Yuma's, and Yuma absolutely tore up the server. But also, Wolf Team going in a very different direction. They say, you know what? We don't want to catch you. We're going to take all of your buildings instead, which HFN spearheading in front, the Leshrac in back. They don't have a lot of save paired up with this Leshrac, but at the end of the day, they say, well, how easy is it going to be to play Tinker when all of your tier 1s are gone at 15 minutes? How easy is it going to play whenever we just edict a tower and we don't care about the mischance? And the funny thing about Wolf Team's lineup is no one really cares about laser. All of the cores do their own thing in a very different way, which is kind of funny. But again, we'll have to see. DogChamp do have a lot of their classic heroes, something that they're going to have to play around. But Wolf Team are kind of calling their bluff here, saying that we're just going to play a nice, clean game of Dota, take all your outer buildings. RCY is not going to have enough time, and then we're going to win. And DogChamp are the exact opposite. They're saying, no, we stamp our feet in the ground. We're going to beat you. We're going to take our team fights. We're going to get RCY through that slow tinker phase, and then RCY is going to wipe the floor with you. So again, I like both drafts from both these teams.
Yeah, very different styles here, but both drafts that very much could work out. It's just going to be a matter of who gets what they want, because I mean, the Leshrac is going to push, right? But you haven't necessarily surrendered the aggressive fighting potential either. You still have the Pudge, you still have the Visage, you still have a support duo in Marcy and Witch Doctor that will heavily punish if anyone steps out of line here. So Wolf Team kind of get the best of both worlds. It just feels like they are 100% about that tempo. But I don't know. If RCY hits the critical mass ET, Wolf Team are going to struggle to do much of anything at that stage. But as you say, they're hoping that they never get there in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where the Weaver, it's not your 100% win. You know, it's no Ursa versus Pudge. It's no position where the Pudge is just absolutely helpless. But Weaver's a pretty scary hero. And again, lockdown-wise as well with going with this Leshrac, it's a little bit thin. It's where those rebounds are really going to be so important for KJ. And then we'll see if they can actually make things work. And they do switch things around a little bit because King RD, well, still on that Visage. I'm still looking. It's not FCR, right? It's now the coach of another SA team standing in. So kind of sad to see him go by the wayside. But I think that's also why coming into this game, might not have seen that techie ban. I'm going back to see if it got through, but
RCY got hooked.
Oh yeah.
Can they take him down? Yes, they can. All right. There's your first blood, and yeah, we should address that actually. Thank you for that, because kind of forgot. But FCR is not playing. This Witch Doctor, this is not FCR. We did have that confirmed by Wolf Team. Haven't quite confirmed who he actually is though, so we're gonna get you that information, you know, as soon as we can. But this is a different stand-in for Wolf Team. Just what a name.
I believe what King RD said before is that his name is Old R. So instead of saying you can call him R, I suppose.
I'm just gonna scream every time I'm trying to say his name.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I'm sure everyone in the audience will love that.
Definitely, but yeah, RCY gets first blooded, doesn't get to take it on really either the mid or the carry, but Kennedy is going to be pretty happy. I think he's got just a little bit more mana now. Yeah, he's got little talisman components to come out onto the courier, but we will have to see because this is a lane that can become very annoying, and I do wonder if B9 is maybe going to reel it back a little bit when he goes for those aggressive trades, because straight up, he could just decide not to necessarily go for the punches so early. Just instead pace things out a little bit slower and then maybe wait. While Wolf Team, they don't want that. They want to go in. They want the punish. And there you go. Soul Assumption or Stonebank.
Stonebank says, thank you, Bloody Nine. I love taking all this extra damage. But yeah, this is the problem. The Treant wants to trade. He wants to be that guy. He's got 94 base damage, for God's sake. But you're paired up with someone who is so fragile in the early stages that he may have to cool it a little bit here, or only take trades when King RD's far enough away. But how often is he gonna be that far away in the lane, right?
Yeah, and well, if you can't hit heroes, then I think that a nice swap up as well would be just hitting the creeps, and well, good damage on a King RD, but yeah, immediately traded back out. It's just the nature of the lane, but this does get a whole lot easier once raindrops are on board, but still, you got to be very careful. There's so much kill threat here. I think around level 2, that's where we're really going to see KJ especially just gun for it.
Yeah, he's got the full send it too with the dispos, right? And then they might just be able to punish up anybody that they run into. In the meantime, take a quick look maybe at some of these side lanes. HFN looking for his opportunity. They do have the Cask Maledict combo at level 2 here from the Witch Doctor, so if they do get someone, it's just a stupidly high amount of damage. But We'll see if Italiano Gangster and Yarn don't just sort of play it safe. Although, with the Witch Doctor this far forward, they might just go for the fight, but... at level 2, your Crystal Maiden takes Arcane Ore instead of Frostbite. So without that extra lockdown, they really can't go for it. But at the same time, up top, King RD actually goes down first. They get the Swarm Beetle onto him. They've just got double slow here between the Leech Seed and the Nature's Grasp, and they find that kill.
And Visage, very immobile hero. It's the absolute punish that you need to go for, and it'll make Stonebank's lane that much easier as he inches toward those very big items to make his lane just a lot simpler. Also got Sentry Control, which is very important. It means that Stonebank can actually dodge Soul Assumption if he gets the Shikuchi off in time, which is very nice. But okay,
Two-man rebound.
I
That
think
wasn't a
he's
maxed out Soul
gonna die
Assumption,
now, though.
Yeah. I think KJ thought King RD would have more damage than he did with that Soul Assumption, and now not only does KJ go down, but King RD's getting double slowed again. He does have the wand charges, and that's going to deter B9 and Stonebank from going any further, but ill-advised, I would say, from KJ there.
Yeah, and the little successes. Now B9, sure, you're going to get a double wave push into the Visage, and King RD is very happy with that, but you can start getting this large camp pull going. B9 does need that tree cut, though, which is going to make this a little bit harder, especially being so slow, but if he can manage that pull, then Stonebank's in a great spot.
Let's see, does he have the timing right? Looks like he does. Okay. Let's pull that away. And there's not a whole lot KJ and King RD can do about that at the moment. But they're going to try and come over here and maybe steal some of this, so they can at least do that. But nobody's really going to come here to contest it. So, calming down in the top lane. Excuse me. Failed repeatedly on that one. So, we'll take a look mid. See how Seuss is doing here against RCY. Last hit-wise, he is out to a little bit of an edge. But ET, short of RCY just kind of standing still and getting clipped by the Split Earth, is there really any kill potential that Seuss can work with here?
Not until he's level 6, but everybody's dying right now. Both lanes, of course, you did get the kill into the Visage yet again here, but Italiano gets a kill on the Pudge. Bided his time for so long, and now even the Witch Doctor,
The
one more
boar
axe.
is still hitting.
There you go.
Okay. Who needs boar? I've got axes. Fair enough. But yeah. Double kill, and as you said, everyone is dying. All of the lanes are now sort of starting to get in on the action, so... Well, I say all the lanes. Mid is still not quite there yet, but... Both of these mid laners are going to be hitting level 6 relatively soon, so... Things could heat up there as well as back up top. B9 getting hit up. Soul Assumption is going to catch him out, and... Man, these teams are not shy about the fighting, ET.
No, they definitely are not. And well, I think
they've got
HFN, yeah, does get the trade finally. Yarn just steps out of the lane for maybe a bit too long, but HFN's coming into a little bit more, I want to say, difficulties here. This is not the same just kill over die, 7 kills in 7 minutes, you know. You're at least fighting him back a little bit. And I think with that being said, Beastmaster is closing in more and more closely to that Helm of the Dominator. And HFN is actually having to work for his items. I hope he just ends up buying a Vanguard and this is a casual cloak, though, because Foot of Defiance does not really feel too great. I don't know. It's where that item is just kind of not the same that a Vanguard gives you. Just damage block is so nice whenever you're just farming for the entire game, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that in terms of what he actually buys. In the meantime, there's a little bit of a chase onto KJ up in that top lane, but chasing a Marcy is not exactly something easy to pull off here, so does force KJ out of lane for a little bit, which means King RD is alone, and they're going to try and get some damage in onto him, but not enough to actually go for the kill at this point. At the same time, mid, Suits is trying to take down Yarn. We'll be able to find that kill. Destroyer is not going to have enough damage, though, with the laser and the missile to actually get traded out.
Yeah, is just a little bit too far away, and even though you're taking a trip back to the base, you know, it could be worse. And Yarn did actually secure RCY the DD road, but Tinker's level 6. It's time to just force in that mid wave constantly, harass with laser. It's time to farm.
RCY just sending out some missiles here, see if he can get some free damage onto Suits. not a bad play. And as you said, might just be time to start moving a little bit, farm elsewhere as HFN. Well, he thought about it, but doesn't go for the hook. Now he'll deploy it onto Yarn, but he doesn't actually hit, and it's time to back up, because he's lost about half his HP, and he did go for the Hood of Defiance.
Yeah, and it's like, it's one of those items that on paper, you're like, yeah, it's good. It gives you a little bit more magic resistance in the lane, and Yarn, well, he's going to get hooked, and he's going to get taken down, but you're just getting right-clicked to death here. He does need to be careful, and he actually has to fully back off because he's taking that much physical damage, as also top, King RD is, what, 25 HP? Again, nobody wants to stay alive here. Everybody is just looking for trades, and now Italiano back bottom. It's the roar, though. Does he have enough damage? This is a race, and a race that Italiano loses.
Hook doesn't hit, though. So I do believe Italiano's going to have enough to survive the Maledict. They put living armor on him as well, so he should survive, although he's got to be careful. Still kind of sticking around. Hook's coming back up in 2. There isn't enough mana for it, but Italiano doesn't necessarily know that, so he is going to have to back up just a little bit. At the same time, what's going on mid? KJ, well, he's moved his way over, but the Tinker's not really here, and he's not going to be. He's actually TPing himself down to the bottom lane instead.
Yeah, and ooh, would be a nice hook, but no, doesn't land onto Italiano. And Italiano got lucky again here. Got the perfect creep for taking this tier 1 tower as fast as humanly possible, but that's where mid, there's a little bit of a battle here. Just trying to look for Yaren. It won't happen. And looking over at Sooths and his build, 2 points up in Diabolic Edict. This is where putting pressure onto that tier 1 is always going to be very important here, because the Tinker is gone. He's farming, and he is farming a huge stack. RCY, he does the smoke trick that he always does in all of his Tinker games. Another thing that DogChamp has just kind of labbed out here. And he, I think, clears a triple stack of the Ancients, something like that. So gives him actually pretty high level here, but other stack is found, and B9 is going to get taken out, and they're not going to get any of this large camp.
Well, RCY's coming in, however. Italiano Gangster arriving as well. Seuss, no HP. He just gets blown up. And, I mean, they get the stun, they get the Maledict, but they don't have the damage to actually do anything with this, so the supports are going to fall too. HFN.
And then he's out.
Okay, HFN just going to walk away, but that is unfortunate. You did steal a stacked camp, so Wolf Team got some money, but giving up 3 kills, you're not going to make more than that. Just taking a single camp.
Yeah, just, I think they wanted to involve HFN. I think HFN just got greedy in taking the waves as well, but they also didn't expect to run into a tree and protector in the large camp there. Otherwise, I think maybe they actually do get the Pudge involved, and then it feels more connected, but without that, it definitely feels a little bit jarring here, as also top, NRD, they get a whole bunch of damage. The Lance of Pursuit, he's slowed up, he's taking so much damage, and now the birds, well, they might just die. They have no armor.
The Nature's Grasp down first. They come up. Can he finish them? He's going to try and chase through the trees. No, he's not.
Gives up.
Chasing through the trees is a little bit too much for maybe getting the gold. So might as well just farm the actual wave instead. That's still a kill onto King RD. He's 2 and 3 now, so I don't know. His progress towards any sort of major item is getting slowed up a little bit. He's the lowest net worth core in the game, so it's not going to be the earliest of timings for that Visage when he starts getting involved, right?
Yeah, no, he's definitely slowed down quite a bit. We're not going to see that 13-minute Benjaz Wraith Pack timing, even though looks like they are trying to catch Stonebank in a mistake here, and yeah, well, there you go, but oh, what a time lapse.
Oh boy, Stonebank outplays him, still has the health to maybe get involved in the fight here, because yeah, B9 comes in, he's going to pop the Overgrowth. Seuss, though, immediately gets out of it with the Illusion Rune, but here comes Yarn in from the back with the Freezing Field. It's not enough damage, though. KJ got very low, but they weren't actually able to finish it off. But you know what? That's fine, right? This is 4 heroes top. You did have to pop your own Overgrowth, but the main point of that was getting Stonebank away, and you succeeded on that.
Yeah, and props to Yarn, you know, a lot of damage that he just did. Did like 1,000 damage in a
Whoa.
very short amount of time. But yeah, bottom. And now HFN, well, your team better still have TPs and they're not gonna come. So something takes getting shoved out of his lane into a double kill in Italiano's, and now, well, this tower trade it was coming, and you're not even trading towers because Tinker's defending top. B9 though is gonna eat the ultimate, so he'll get taken down. But Leshrak's not on a building, so you're still kind of winning this trade.
They're going to still get the most of it, and... Well, Yaren may go down here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to die at this point, but he's trying to set up for RCY. He's coming back in with the missiles and the laser. He takes down one. Can he get the other? There it is. Able to jump in. Familiars can't keep up with the blink, and RCY needs a little help from his teammate, but he does manage to win out that fight. That's 2 more kills for him. That's a tier 1 safe, and Wolf Team are starting to get into a very concerning point, AT. If they start losing control of the map, then... Oh, then what is this Leshrac really for? Suits is going to try to fight, and it's a nice stun to start. Do they have the damage to just burn through Italiano? I think they do.
Yet again, 4 heroes, they do find that punish, but before, though, with the tower push that Zeus eventually tried to make happen, Edict just simply responded to by Glyph. And now DogChamp don't have Glyph, so they should probably put everything into pushing down this mid tower, which I absolutely agree with, because you go for one of those side lanes and then suddenly it refreshes, and then your mid tower pushes back to square one. But we are also at level 12. RCY is now going to, again, ramp up. Everything gets easier on the Tinker. And of course, inching closer and closer to that Shiva's guard. This is just another game where RCY is just doing his own thing, and it's kind of working out.
Nobody's really been able to put too much pressure on him here, so... Well, I say that. Wolf Team, they did try the smoke up here. Already about 2/3 of the way through the duration, so they need to find something, and Italiano is just sitting here waiting to die, so they'll go in for what should be a bit of a freebie. And actually, he roared too. That's unfortunate, because by the time he respawns, he won't have that available again, but nicely done by Wolf Team. HFN, meanwhile, closing in on an Aghanim Scepter, so he's going to get a little bit more dangerous, but HFN hasn't really been overly active. He's got 4 Flesh Heap stacks just from the fights in the lane itself, but haven't really seen him move around too much, although he is now making his way mid. But there's so many other heroes here, too. There's going to be the Overgrowth into the freezing field, and look at RCY just firing from the back line. But they've taken down KJ. HFN is dropped low and taken down by Stonebank. I think Yaren is going to be sacrificed here. Pigpole won't get him away from Sooths, but... Well, you're still okay with that trade-off, and it may not be over yet. Stonebank with the DD is still trying to get in there, but... Don't want to dive the tier 1 in the middle lane just yet. So they do back it off, but 2-for-2 trade.
Yeah, 2-for-2 trade. You kill the Pudge, maybe slow up that Ags a little bit. Still did get a Flesh Heap stack, so, you know, HFN doesn't leave entirely empty-handed, but that was also a 4v5. The Beastmaster was respawning during that entire time. He was a non-factor, and they still take the fight very convincingly. And again, kills are kills, but until you start to taking away some of these buildings, RCY is just full power. Every tier 1 is still standing, and every tier 1 can and will get healed up by that Treant Protector. It's where, until you hit a power spike, I feel like Wolf Team just can't go for these air whiffs. They're just missing a few too many times. Yaren will die. He will get taken down, but again, a kill that doesn't lead into an objective is still just a kill. So 285 gold is nice. It's building yourself up, but I do just wonder if you're maybe missing a little bit of the point here. This is going to be another kill, though. They do use the ultimates. HFN's probably going to just land the hook, and then, yeah, we'll go down. And the Ags is coming out in the courier, but this next batch of plays needs to be incredibly clean from Wolf Team, because those big items are coming through from DogChamp. Helm and the Overlord's completed. You're 1,000 gold away from the Shiva guards on Tinker, and then suddenly we're there. It's time to fight.
Well, they caught Italiano. As you said, though, he had already bought the final bit of his Helm of the Overlord, so it wasn't delivered to him, but it is available. But Wolf Team find the kill. They're now going to try and push their way mid. No Edict for Tem, though, so RCY is going to get a chance to run interference at this point. And, well, looks like Wolf Team don't want to commit for it after all. The Leshrac will TP top, but up top is where Stonebank is, so maybe they could take him by surprise, but doesn't really seem like it.
Yeah, and with sentries in the lane as well, it's like the most difficult lane to gank with an Invis rune, just with what they have placed before. But striking in 2 spots at the same time is a pretty nifty idea. It does mean that you do split the attention, and of course, without Glyph, for another 25 seconds, you'd want a free tower at this point, just any free tower. But there's only 2 top. There are smoked heroes coming in. They don't know about the Leshrac here still, but this is just a setup for the Visage. And here comes Stonebank. Well, there's your free tower, but are you going to get out now? This is just perfect.
Overgrowth to start. Missiles are in. Laser connects. Freezing Field being channeled. These supports are starting to run a little low on HP, but it looks like they are going to survive, and they get the job done. Both King RD and Seuss will fall. Do they clean up that other familiar? Yes, they do, so they get a little bit of extra gold on top, and yeah, losing the tower is unfortunate, but if you trade that out for that kind of fight, DogChamp will take it, and do they want to try and push this themselves? Their creep wave is not really going to last all that long, but they are trying to set up for a wraparound play, but before they can, the hook did connect. They were a little slow on the lockdown to follow, but now they will catch it. Stonebank gets taken down.
Yep, very nice play. Just going up the lane a little bit too fast, and that was just blind in the dark. Just ends up working out for them. And now, well, you still have Roar. Defense showing underneath the ward. This is a long, messy kill, though, but Tinker's coming in on the creeps.
AJ does get a nice rebound off there, but RCY is still in, so they will keep that fight going. Death Ward being channeled out here by the Witch Doctor, though, is going to do a little bit of damage, but RCY just comes in and shuts him up. And Italiano, yeah, he will tick out, but your Tinker manages to grab a double kill on those 2 supports, just kind of standing side by side, and it's another trade, ET. These trades just keep on sort of swinging a little bit more towards DogChamp.
And of course, with the Shiva's card, now you actually can farm these waves. It just takes a second, and then you're back to a different area, and then once you have this BKB, you're not really the target anymore. You have to look for other heroes first. Not to mention, Stonebank almost has his BKB, so that same perfect situation top where you get the chain stun off the Marcy, well, that's not gonna happen anymore. That time lapse is gonna be a threat. It's where I just don't know if Wolf Team have done enough here early on. I feel like they've really started to slow down a little bit. And sure, Leshrac has a Blink Dagger now, so he can actually do some follow-up play, especially with KJ, but aside from that, we've really just stopped them from invading. Aside from that tier 1 top, they haven't gotten aggressive back on mid at all. It just feels like they're playing for that much slower timing. There's even a Wraith Pact, I think, almost completed onto King RV, but until then, nothing's really happening right now. And back bottom, Stonebank.
He time-lapsed a little early, actually. Yeah, so he doesn't have it available once he starts losing his HP.
The rest of the fight.
Here comes the Tinker. Just pushing his way forward. KJ's going to go down. HFN on the run. The Leshrac's actually chasing forward, though, trying to get the kill on Yarn, and he does manage to find it, but that means he's not in a position to help his teammates. HFN trapped in the trees. Goes for the hook onto B9, though, but he will still fall. But now RCY's got to be a little bit careful. He was able to... He was able to get the blink off anyway after the familiar sort of hit him up the first time. So he is out. And that time... Well, that time the trade does go in Wolf Team's favor, so... Well, that's the power of the Leshrac, I suppose, right? Seuss just says, I'm going for the kills. You guys can have fun running from a Tinker. He does manage to find a couple.
Yeah, and of course, the entire reason they get the kill in the Stonebank is because they just have double blank. They've got Leshrac and Pudge that just became their own initiators, but, well, DogChamp save. Well, if we know which angle you're coming from, Stonebank actually has his BKBs in his inventory now, so we're going to force Roche. They don't have the bug down on him. I think the bug is going to come through now, give them a little bit of vision, and they will know that Roche is happening, but Hook gets blocked out. Needs to stay pretty healthy here, but Roche is dying way too quick, and the birds, they're flying over, but does he steal it? Yep.
Okay. Seuss was able to grab it. Now can they get away with it? They're going to go into Italiano Gangster first. They do find that kill. Freezing Field, though, channeling, so HFN is going to fall. Seuss did lose that first life. He's going to try to get onto B9. Will be able to make that kill happen. But to the south, well, here comes the Tinker again, right? He's just going to start firing away, getting out the missiles, connecting onto King RD. Do they have enough damage to finish him off quickly? Well, maybe not quickly, but they should get him eventually. There it is. King RD will go down. RCY just tearing through everyone. And he is well, not quite the lone survivor. Stonebank is still in here, but 8 heroes go down, and if your wolf team... Well, I don't know, ET, how do you judge that? Because they just lost everyone, but they were able to keep the Aegis out of DogChamp's hands.
Yeah, and if Zeus doesn't snipe it, then I don't even want to picture how that team fight looks. But you still lose HFN so early on in the engagement, and it's where, unfortunately for him, do you get a plate mail? Do you get a casual plate mail into this BKB? You really need a BKB to actually fight in this game, but it's just not working for you. And that was the chance kind of moment there where RCY got his blink disabled, got stunned up by the Visage Birds, but nobody else was able to follow up because everybody was so focused on making sure that Aegis didn't go to the Weaver. So even though they get the catch, it's just the split attention that results in RCY just, again, being able to go wild. Because now, you're level 20, you just got your level 20 talent. Again, not going for the Defense Matrix CD, just because he's a little greedy Tinker player that wants faster TPs instead, which I get, I understand. It's just very obnoxious to deal with, but he's still just playing his own game. And now that he's level 18 as well, again, there's no slowing him down. His XPM is insane right now. It's 23 minutes into this game, and he's almost full build Tinker, it feels like.
Yeah, this is gonna be tough for anyone on the Wolf team to really match up against, and he's looking for... He's got Kaya E-Blade sort of queued up here, so at this point the Tinker opting for maybe a little bit more of a damage route as opposed to something like the early Hex, but I mean, he's 11-1, right? He's been doing damage, so if he can get that E-Blade onto somebody, he is just going to amplify that nuke damage even further, as he's going to try and hold the tier 1 tower here. His presence alone combined with the glyph actually is enough to make Wolf Team kind of back away.
Oh.
But B9, that's very far forward here. He is going to get the overgrowth off. He will die for it. And that does put the Witch Doctor in an awkward spot there, just trying to channel out his ult for as long as he could. But it means that RCY gets exactly where he wants to be, right up onto those heroes. And King RD, you're not making it out, man. I'm sorry, but that is wishful thinking on that TP.
Oh, he's just so ridiculously confident. This is the hero that nobody ever wants to go in ever, and he's just blinking onto 2 heroes, knowing that he's got BKB, you don't. I'm just gonna win. I have more net worth than you. Shoves dirt in your face, honestly. Then farms the entire jungle before rejoining his team mid, most likely here. I mean, it's just great stuff. And Wolf Team, without these BKBs, they really can't do anything versus him. They have very little lockdown as well. They need 3 BKBs before they can make a real convincing team fight happen. And even Zeus there just pops his Bloodstone super early. And even though the Bloodstone build is broken, it feels fantastic, it's just not working. And while RCY is buying you all this time and all this space by carrying all these team fights, well, Stonebank's been able to pocket himself what looks like a Lincoln's in 700 gold here. And then, well, suddenly he's not the one to kill. Oh, are we going to kill the Beastmaster? Well, he's got a BKB right now. So are we killing the Tinker? Well, that just has not been a possibility. So who are we killing?
Right. Just need to try and pick a target, but anyone who's not a support is just a little bit too tough, so... I don't know. I mean, they could subsist for a little while, taking down... taking down the supports, but not like this. HFN just goes in right away, tries to get a Dismember off, but the Roar shuts him down immediately. HFN's dead. B9 gonna buy back, looking to rejoin his teammates, but they may not even need him, because they're just going straight in onto the Witch Doctor, who gets to channel his ult for about a half a second before he dies. And that's GG. They're done. They know. They can't do it. Oh, boy. Start banning this Tinker, ladies and gentlemen, because it's gross.
You know, I don't want to say it, but he makes me want to play Tinker.
Ooh.
RCY makes me want to learn that hero because,
do that.
my goodness, it just looks so free. And of course, you gotta survive the lane. You've gotta, you know, have a 4 position stacking the ancient creeps, but the combination of him just not getting countered super hard in lane, Wolf Team not going for any hero that's going to jump onto the backline or himself, and then Yaren just stacking up the ancients and him farming it with the smoke thing. I mean, it just looks so free and so fun because you get to this point where just everything just dies around you. And of course, it is paired with the Beastmaster, so maybe you got a little bit more hawk vision. You've got the bugs too. I think DogChamp did a really good job of drafting around it yet again, but I mean, it just looks satisfying. It just looks so much fun to just kill everybody, you know, go 14-1 and 12. I mean, come playoffs, now I feel like this hero has to be banned versus DogChamp, and they play spoiler. Now Wolf Team can't make it. Well, Five Rat, ooh, they're loving the RCY Tinker right now.
Exactly. Yeah. So with this 1-1 draw, the scenario that plays out, I'm just going to read it off because there's no way I could memorize that many different ones. But that puts the cut at 3, 5 Rat stay upper bracket at 4, and then Wolf Team is 5, and DogChamp, it'll still depend on what happens with Ravens versus No Runes later, but they already knew that they were going to be lower bracket. So, well, like you said, ET, you know, 5 Rat just sitting there. It's like hoping, it's like, come on, RCY, get us upper bracket, please. And he does deliver. And yeah, as you were also pointing out, once we get to playoffs, you can't do this anymore. You can't let it through. You just really, really can't. It has to be banned out. No questions asked pretty much every time.
Yeah, no, it just works out for them. And then Wolf Team also really come into problems, I think, with Italiano Gangsters Lane. I think they were expecting that same shutout that HFN was able to perform versus the last Beastmaster. But also in the CM going to that 4th position, I mean, all it took was a slow. And then HFN just didn't feel nearly as killer in the lane. And, maybe a 5-man Midas are watching, they've got their notepads taking notes at all of the teams that now get to continue on towards that playoff stage. But yeah, no, very fun game, pretty satisfying. And again, RCY Tinker, man, you got to look at this kid.
Is it? So many of these mid laners out of Southeast Asia are just unbelievable Tinker players. So it's a skill that some of the other regions don't really care to brush up on, but maybe some of those other regions should look into it too, because as you said, it just looks so free. 14, 1, and 12 kind of speaks for itself with the stat lines there too. So DogChamp close out their group stage run, so too do Wolf Team, and we are just about done with the group stage here in general, folks, but we do have one last series to play. It is going to be the All-South American matchup, Ravens versus No Runes. Both of those teams playing for seeding. No Runes are trying to maybe move up a little bit. Ravens need one win out of these two games to take back the number 1 seed from SGE Sports. So Ravens have been looking pretty good here, right? I mean, they're top 2 for a reason, but see if they can close out with at least one win. But in the meantime, we are going to be stepping away for a little bit while we get that final best of 2 set up. Before we go, however, I do want to let you know once again about our giveaway here for Pro Series. We are giving away some stuff. Very cool stuff. A HyperX Armada 25 FHD gaming monitor will be going out to one lucky winner alongside a BTS branded t-shirt and hoodie. So if you want to take your shot at winning that little prize bundle, you can go to the address at the top of your screen, bts.gg/Pro Series giveaway. You can enter pretty much until the end of Pro Series. We're not going to draw that winner until really the day after the grand finals. So you still have some time, but take advantage of the opportunity. Again, that's bts.gg/Pro Series giveaway. You can enter for free, take your shot at winning a monitor and some BTS merchandise. To be fair, ET, the monitor is probably the bigger draw, but t-shirt and hoodie, not bad, right? Everybody needs free clothes.
Yeah, no, and the clothes will keep you warmer than that 400 and what $50 monitor, but yeah, maybe the monitor does just feel a little bit better, but we'll see. You know which one I prefer.
Oh no, some people out there, depending on what games they're running, their rigs could be maybe warmer than the t-shirt and hoodie. Hopefully
True,
not, though.
true.
That's not great for your machines. Please don't do that. Please manage your internal temperatures.